Frame is set.
Copy.
Cam rolls.
Cool. Okay. The emotional cinema of music. Hello, I'm Jack Zitkowski, and this is our group's video essay. Movies are a perfect avenue for creatively minded people to navigate the nature of life, death, love, and loss. They let audiences place themselves into lives they would never dream of living, making them question their own view of the world. Sometimes it can be through straight-up dialogue, an action scene, or, for our focus today, a musical number. In this video essay, we hope you will all come away thinking about the impact musical moments can have on movies. Now let's do a little jump to the French New Wave, specifically the work of filmmaker Agnes Varda. Now, Varda exemplifies the ideas of living life to the fullest and finding your place in the world. Her spot in film history is shown through her uplifting of women's stories and dealings in life. The themes of mortality and what you do with your life can be seen fully in her most well-known film, Cleo from 5 to 7. The film shows the daunting task of waiting for a medical result and how the spiral of emotions can make someone believe that they're in their dying days. Being one of Varda's first pieces, it sets the ground running for the era of filmmaking known as French New Wave, a period emphasized by experimental stylization and existentialism. Filmmakers like Greta Gerwig and Sofia Coppola lean into many of the elements Varda championed in her films, with female leads and deeper socio-psychological themes, like mortality. Cleo grapples with her mortality and how she'll be remembered by those around her many times throughout the film, coming to an emotional head at around 35 minutes. In singing Sans Toi, she discovers how deeply she is hurt by the negligence of those around her, as well as her own dismissal of her own feelings.
Toutes portes ouvertes en plein courant d'air. Je suis une maison vide.
The darkness that surrounds her midway through the song emphasizes her loneliness in her plight, making it known to the audience that this is a meaningful moment in her life. She figures her world can continue without her in a moment of true loneliness. The darkness fully surrounds her and encapsulates and emphasizes many of her facial emotions, specifically the one tear coming down one of her eyes. The use of our time determines how much we feel accomplished and how we view ourselves towards the end of our life. Cleo spends much of the first half of the film ignoring her problems and focusing on her appearance and view from those surrounding her. The viewpoint from others fuels the confidence she has until the song practice, when she turns inward to view herself as someone worth the time of her own sorrow. Earlier scenes help to establish Cleo as a character with very little agency at first. She goes about her day while waiting for the results, with tarot reading being the major stepping stone towards her later decision to go off and explore the world on her own. The utilization of the long take to let every beat of emotion hit in real time aids the film's style and tone. Long takes had been used in earlier moments of the film, such as the taxi ride, to show the world around Cleo and how chaotic it could be. When she asks the taxi driver to turn off the radio because she hears it's her song, it really shows how little emotion she really puts into herself outside of an outward expression at how much disdain she's showing for these medical results. The scene involving Sans Toi serves a purpose to humanize Cleo from the artificial facade from earlier. Her tears feel genuine compared to the overplayed sobbing in the restaurant or in front of the tarot reader, letting her stare the audience down and face them truly as a person. The superficiality of her emotion earlier contrasts a lot with this moment. Now, music lends a hand in creating show-stopping moments in film. You've got pieces like Her that deal with fleeting love and the progression of society, or Whiplash that challenge the notion of perfectionism and the legacy you want to leave behind. Moments in both of these films show how music can affect a scene, especially longer takes holding on to an emotional moment. Music amplifies the emotion a person is feeling. To quote several YouTubers that I've watched, mainly Sideways, when someone is at the height of their emotions, that is the time for them to sing. It applies to every Disney musical, every musical adaptation. The most key emotional beats are ripe for music. To compare to a modern example, we have Damien Chazelle's La La Land. Utilizing references from both Cleo and the Umbrellas of Cherbourg, the song Audition, or The Fools Who Dream, shows Mia, our protagonist, at one of her most vulnerable states.
We make. She captured a feeling
Sky with no ceiling, the sunset inside a frame. She lived in her liquor and died with a flicker.
After her play ends up a train wreck and her relationship with Sebastian falls to shambles, her audition is one of the final numbers of the film that plays as one long emotional show of talent from actress Emma Stone. And you can see a lot of the comparisons with this and Cleo throughout the scene. The slow pushing into the camera shows a lot of the bleakness that is happening in Stone's life, similar to how Cleo is waiting for her medical results and really feels alone in this black void of, while feeling talent, also feeling truly, truly alone. Similarly, a scene from 2019's Marriage Story involving Adam Driver's character shows how distant he's become from his wife in this whole ordeal of them going through a divorce. Him singing Being Alive from Company really hits hard in that moment and shows how truly far gone his character is in terms of how much he's lost his love. Going back to Varda's scene, Cleo ends the moment feeling a sense of self that she hasn't felt throughout the prior scenes. The music created a genuine shift in her character, one that changes the course of her arc going forward. The musical moments within each of these films show a driven understanding by each of their directors to emphasize the emotional struggle of their characters. Chazelle crafts a story told mostly through music and glamour, with elaborate dances and set pieces. Baumbach shows a man at one of his most vulnerable points at the end of his love life. And Varda tells a story through the facial expression and motion of someone discovering how much they matter to themselves. Each filmmaker utilizes the avenue of music to pull the audience into the emotional struggle of their protagonists. Music connects people. Films utilize it to amp up the emotional tension in their scenes. Together, they weave a spiral of a perspective and introspection. On your next watch through of a musical-based film, focus in on the characters' faces. Whether they're animated or live action, the aspects a director can emphasize in their films come back to the existential ideas of French New Wave, and how our emotions drive us to our best selves. That's all for this video essay. Have a good one!